What's up guys, CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new Hybrid Network video, this time breaking down one of the more interesting recent rumors out of that Joker origin movie from Todd Phillips and Martin Scorsese starring Joaquin Phoenix. It's a mouthful, but I love to say it, that the movie is going to feature Batman's father, Thomas Wayne, in a major role. And if you've been living under a rock since last August, when we first caught wind that this movie was potentially going to be a thing, yes, they are making a solo Joker movie. It's going to be a gritty origin film with the feel of Scorsese's earlier works like Taxi Driver or King of Comedy, and yes, it is going to star Joaquin goddamn Phoenix as the Clown Prince of Crime himself. You know, I guess before he was the Clown Prince of Crime. Things picked up this week when The Hollywood Reporter broke the news that the film had officially gotten the go-ahead from Warner Brothers, and that Phoenix had officially signed on to the project after nearly a full year of speculation. While the project is still mostly under wraps, we should know even more in a few months as the film actually begins filming in New York in September. Then, yesterday, we got an extremely interesting and honestly kind of surprising update from Collider. On their Movie Talk podcast, their own Jeff Snyder shared that he was hearing one major Batman character with a major role in the film was none other than Batman's dad, Thomas Wayne. That's big for a couple of reasons. I mean, first and foremost, obviously, that is a massive link to the Joker's eventual nemesis, but beyond that, it suggests the movie might be even more tied to Gotham and the Batman mythos in general than had previously been reported or even expected. I mean, we had heard whispers this was potentially going to be set, like, not even in Gotham, like in New York or something. It also raises way more questions than answers. I mean, the big one that comes to my mind is just who the hell is Thomas Wayne in this film? And I don't mean from a fan casting perspective. In the comics, the elder Wayne is obviously the heir to Wayne Enterprises, or Wayne Corp, the company that his family founded in the 18th century according to comic book lore. And through this, he's also a noted philanthropist through the Wayne Foundation. Beyond all of that, he's also presented as a skilled and well-known medical doctor, and yes, he actually practices medicine on top of all of his work at Wayne Enterprises. Whether or not they tie in the doctor aspect of Thomas Wayne's career, both or either would make him a very high-profile figure in Gotham social circles, and if I had to guess, I'd say the focus will be on his career as an industrialist just because that seems the most likely to tie into any plot involving the Joker. I've also wondered whether or not Wayne would kind of be painted as the villain of the film. I mean, obviously the Joker is a villain in his own right, but seeing as it's a character study about that character, and from his point of view, you know, a wealthy businessman like Wayne could kind of appear as an antagonistic figure when seen through the Joker's eyes, especially if this is going to be gritty and he's going to be this hard-scrabble kid and small-time criminal, really just living life on the streets. Somebody like that, somebody from the 1%, literally the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, could be painted as a villain in this movie. But as for how Wayne factors in, personally, I see one of two routes that they could go. First, and I think the most likely, it's been said that the movie is going to be heavily based on The King of Comedy, Scorsese's 1982 film, which sees Robert De Niro playing a failing and mentally deranged comedian. His quest for success ultimately culminates in kidnapping a successful comedian and talk show host to be able to do a stand-up act on that comedian's show, after which he's arrested and taken to jail. But it's sort of like this story of a rough and tumble kid with a hard life who's mentally deranged, trying and eventually succeeding at his dream, even though it's through, like, obviously nefarious means. On the face of it, while the motives and goals are probably, definitely, going to be different, the Joker kidnapping Thomas Wayne wouldn't be too far-fetched of a plot, and in fact, if Wayne is going to have a big role, having him be the target of Joker's obsession and ultimately his victim is probably the most likely scenario. In the film, personally, I could see it going something like this. You tie it into Joker's origin as we saw in The Killing Joke. He's this failed stand-up comedian, which we already know is going to be a thing in this movie, and he gets roped into this plot. I was going to say hatches this plot, but I think it's probably a little bit better if he kind of unwittingly becomes involved. But he gets roped into this plot to kidnap Thomas Wayne, and it could be this whole thing, I guess. I could see that probably being the way that they would go. But the other idea that comes to my mind, and it might not be well received by everyone, I've told it to 3 or 4 people and I get split reactions every time. What if, in an homage to Tim Burton's Batman from 1989, the film culminates in Joker killing Thomas and Martha Wayne? Personally, even if that doesn't happen, you know, the idea of playing the Joker as this struggling person, to paraphrase how Phoenix himself described him in an interview with Collider Frosty, you know, who's just deranged and obsessed with Thomas Wayne, that is incredibly interesting. And honestly, go watch The Master and you'll see why Phoenix is perfect for this part. Like, this is maybe one of the greatest castings for a comic book movie of all time. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below, and who is your dream fan casting for the role of Thomas Wayne. That's going to do it for me here, though. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider turning on your notifications to be alerted every time we upload a new video. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.